Waiting for you for 8.
Take it easy. Busted. Take it easy.
Stay focused. One with wait. Hear me. Gotcha.
Minute.
Wind strike.
One with wind and cloud.
Hey, sharing my knowledge.
Quiet.
Time to go.
Wind strike.
There are leaves around, and I know just the tune to accompany them, if you wish to hear it.
The campaign begins.
You're still.
What is the situation? Shine down!
Not now.
Shut up!
The night is cold.
Barbados! Kindness! Freeze to the core! What do we have here?
I've been waiting.
Yeah! Ha! Beg for mercy. I won't hold you. Off we go.
Adventure time.
Illusion shattered. It's time to move on. We shouldn't stay here.
People around anymore. Looks like that boat we took to Araneas might have been the last one.
Vache.
Looks like we're back here again. Huh? Traveler? Are you hearing voices? Ugh.
Vache? Vache.
Hey, why are you still walking towards it? Huh? Hey, Traveler? Stop walking! Come on, wake up!
Vache, are you... my dear No, wait. You seem to be someone else. Do you know Vache? You know I'm... Wait. Who am I? I'm very sorry, my memories feel like they have been washed away like a flood. How much have I lost? How many things that I once held dear while on land have I since? Yes, that is what I was once. But now, I am but the I do not know how I came to be like this either. I only vaguely remember being covered in light blue water, and then all grew dim. I also remember going to many places. No matter where I went, Vache would go with me. I knew how dearly he... But now, we can no longer go back. No! Our reunion no longer has any meaning. The thought of me gives him no succor. If you meet Vache, tell him not to look for me. Tell him to... Perhaps that is so. As I was submerged in the waters. If only I could have comforted him. Told him that I did not suffer. Is that what you call it? Dissolving? If anything, it was a state of neither fear nor frenzy, with only an endless peace. I could also liken it to being a thirsty person who drinks water for the first time, and only then sees how they have lived for so long in a world of endless... I think I hear your companion. It's time for you to go, I think. Farewell, then. I am glad that you were able to sense my presence. Remember...
Wake up! Come on, hurry! Navi is outnumbered!
Mademoiselle, look out!
Dear God, it's a whole army of Gardamex. Chlorand? Quick, now's our chance! I should thank you for lending us your sword there, Chlorand. But before I do so, could you explain how you managed to show up here?
I followed you. It seemed to me that danger has followed you more closely as of late.
I believe that following someone without their knowledge is actually called stalking, is it not?
Mr. Callus's last wish was for me to ensure your safety, and I will not betray his trust. He would do the same, were he alive today.
Do not speak of my father!
Sorry, Demoiselle. I was not strong enough.
Thank you for your aid, Miss Chlorand, but do keep an eye out for your manner of speech. I believe we all wish to avoid unnecessary emotional harm.
Sorry, I did not consider your feelings.
Whatever. What else do you know? How did you come to the conclusion that I'd be in grave danger?
I doubt I know much more than you, but I believe that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances is your performance tonight will almost certainly attract...
I'm sure they've no... And what about these Gardamex?
None of these mecha have... I can only conclude that some powerful...
What? Your point being that they're up...
Yes.
I will continue investigating, no matter... Regardless.
I do not think that...
Right. I suppose that's the best news we've gotten today.
Demoiselle, I believe that Miss Chlorand was being sincere with you. If we tried, we could attempt to thaw relations a little.
I know, I just... She's...
Oh, thank goodness! I thought we were... Those Gardamex came out of nowhere! Oh, and there was that champion duelist named Chlorand who came out to save us, too! We got lucky there. I'm probably...
Oh, come now. Forget all that polite talk. That wasn't really a fit. As such, we're still partners. There's no need to...
It will take 50 years for me to match Demoiselle's magnanimity.
If it were me, I would have joined the Spina di Rosula on account...
Actually, Navia, how did you know that we were in danger? You should...
Well, to be honest, you're the one who tipped us off, Pi.
Huh? Really? Paimon can trip...
Yes. All thanks to you grabbing my drink. After we parted ways, I was on the way back to one of our bases that the Fonta tasted kind of salty and icky. Fonta only comes in sweet flavors. So how could it have tasted...
So the Fonta had been spiked with water from the primordial...
Yes. So if you hadn't drunk that cup for me...
Spina di Rosula is preparing the grandest of all...
Huh. Really?
I sent people to Hotel de Boer to investigate, but whoever did this left no trace at all. That's when I figured out that you might be in danger, and hurried here as quickly as I could.
But why would they go after us too? All we did was defend Linny and Cor—
Well, you did foil a plan that they were probably pretty proud of, and almost got their name in the process. Speaking of which, did anything strange happen when you drank the primordial seawater?
Well, it can't be a coincidence that the traveler fainted just now. He said that he heard that voice calling for Vache again. Oh, and this time Paimon heard it too, but it was real faint. Does this situation have to do with the primordial seawater then? Does that mean the primordial seawater raises someone's sensitivity to hydro?
That doesn't sound like too much of a bad thing to be a—
New intel? Wild—
well, let's hear it, shall we? Oh, that is important. Vache. That name doesn't ring a bell. I suppose he hasn't since he saw that young woman dissolve, but he never gave testimony or any information regarding people dissolving. Yes, thank you. This is very important information indeed. We will continue to investigate. Oh, you mean you'll help?
Well, you did say that our farewell meal— And besides, we're in this now whether we like it or not. You're not gonna let those people who targeted us—
Demoiselle, do try not to look quite so pleased. You are the face of Spina di Rosula, after all.
You talk too much. Well, in that, we also have some plans to go over, and hopefully we can deepen our bonds as partners. But
Don't worry, you two. With us around, our base is definitely secure.
it's right up ahead. But let's make sure we weren't followed first.
I've been keeping watch, Demoiselle. I haven't spotted anyone suspicious thus far.
Very good. But let's not let our guard down for now.
I shall find rooms for our respected guests.
Thank you, Malus. Now, let's continue, traveler.
This is your base? It's not quite what Paimon imagined.
Your accommodations have been arranged. Under the present circumstances, I can confidently say it's the best we have.
Well, our funds have been a little tight lately. After all, we don't allow illegal or unethical profiteering. In fact, our funds often come from citizenry who support us.
Seems like it's tough times for everyone. But if you have the support of the people, that...
To be honest, our financial situation was a lot better back when my father was in charge of...
Your father... He was the previous boss of Spina di Rosula, right? How did he...
Demoiselle, if you'll allow me to explain.
No. I'll explain it myself. I suppose I couldn't run from this topic forever. My father's name is Callus. Yes, the same one they call Callus the Unfaithful in the streets. 3 years ago, he was accused of...
Oh, no.
But I I do not believe my father was a murderer. I'm sure he was set up. At the time, I believed that if he only stood trial and was but strangely, he not only requested the duel himself, but rumor has it that even after being seriously injured, to the point where he could be deemed as having lost the duel, he refused. 3 years later, I still don't understand why he did that. How could he protect his honor if he's dead? If anything, he gave up his chance to defend himself. The closest piece of info I have is that my father had been
Ah, so that's why you're...
That's right. I've also tried to investigate the murder my father was implicated in, but I haven't found a single new clue in my countless reviews of the investigation records. However, I believe that if the murder case is related to those behind the disappearances, they must know something. I must know what really happened. Was my father coerced? Framed? Even if he really did kill his friend, I must get to the truth. If only he'd been more open with me when he was still alive. He even hid the fact that my mother died due to complications when giving birth to me. And now, here I am investigating his death. You really are a handful, aren't you, Papa?
Demoiselle, please.
I also will never believe that Master Callus murdered anyone. There are none whom I respect more than the two of you, Demoiselle. Master Callus did so much good in life, yet all it took was one murder. Even our supporters decreased greatly due to that incident, hence our strained finances at present.
Wait, if Callus was such a good man, wouldn't people at least be a little suspicious when he was accused?
No. Perhaps people just revel in that kind of drama. It's not... People love watching the evil turn over a new leaf, but they also enjoy watching good people fall into an abyss from one slip-up just as much.
But how could... never mind. If Callus was really falsely accused, we have to find the truth. He didn't deserve to have that happen to him.
There is one other thing. Master Callus's opponent in the duel was Ms. Clorand.
Oh, her? Well, then, isn't that as good as saying that she was the one who killed him? Yeah, that's not the sort of thing that you can just let go and move on from.
Ms. Clorand has always placed great emphasis on the honorable nature of the duel. If her opponent doesn't yield, she will not stop either. She knew Master Callus beforehand and greatly respected him, but there was only ever one...
It's not that I don't understand her at all, but I just can't deal with this yet.
Don't worry, Navia. Paimon knows how you feel. You don't have to force yourself to do that.
Afterward, Ms. Clorand told us that at the start of the duel, Master Callus requested that she ensure Demoiselle now... Yes, that is our under...
Oh, Papa. What madness drove you to... All right. Anyway, that's the information I wanted to share with you. Thanks.
Yeah.
Please, relax and get some sleep. We will ensure...
sent them back to Poisson. It's Spina de Rosula's place of origin, and where we have our headquarters. There's not much for them to do here at the moment.
Paimon gets the feeling that you're just trying to get them off your back. But never mind that. When did you get...
No, I just returned after going out for a while. I did some investigating.
Wait, so you didn't...
How could I after having such critical new evidence appear?
Guess Paimon wasn't speaking for everyone just now, huh?
Unfortunately, this name seems to have been wiped from existence. It doesn't seem to have a match anywhere. I suspect that those behind this have already taken steps to hinder an investigation.
Does that mean we're...
No. There is one ray of hope, and that is the archives kept by Chief Justice If the Oceanid you met is one of the young women who went missing
So Nervalette maintains an archive of case files? Whew. In that case, let's go talk to him, shall we?
No, it's nothing.
Oh.
The palais is right up ahead. Come on.
Please state your business here. The Chief Justice is presently occupied.
Huh. This place does look pretty heavily guarded. Guess that proves that Nervalette's files are really secure.
Hey, don't you recognize us?
Huh? Who are you? Just to be clear, I don't care who you are or who you might be
See? They've got great discipline, too.
Yep. Paimon can tell.
If you're here just to crack jokes, I can point you towards the exit. Unlike some, we're busy, so please leave if you don't have a reason.
No. What I meant to say is, shouldn't you remember us from a few days ago? We were at the...
Oh, yes, I remember. I read about it in the Steambird.
We're here today to report and archive some information on a follow-up case.
Huh. Is that even a thing?
Of course. Don't worry. We're here on official...
All right, then. I'll let you through. The Chief Justice is just inside.
Thanks so much.
Please, come in.
Sorry to barge in, Monsieur Nervalette. We only lied to get in because we didn't know any other way.
It's all right. Please let me know how I may be of assistance to you.
So you're not mad at us?
We're looking for a man called Vacher. He may have been an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. If we can find him, we may be able to unearth some key information.
Ah, I see. In that case, please wait here a moment while I browse through the files.
Who knew that Nervalette would be so easy to talk to?
Unfortunately, I'm quite certain that no one by the name of Vacher has been involved in any case, criminal or civil, in the past several years. There are no records of him either in the files or in my memory.
Traveler, what if it was really just a dream?
Is that so? All right, then. Thank you so much, Monsieur Neuvillette. We'll take our leave now.
him. Miss Navia, I can understand how you feel. Your father, Callus, was a truly exceptional man. We deeply regret his passing.
And what are you trying to say, Monsieur Neuvillette? Are you trying to console me? Extend your sympathy? Or just express some tendril of regret? No. You are not trying to do any of that. I can hear it in your voice. There's no emotion behind your words. You only said those things. It's just like last time. After my father took his place in the duel, you even told me then that you thought there was something fishy with the case. In your eyes, the value of a human life is nothing compared to the... If you truly regret my father's death, then why didn't you call a stop to the duel? Why didn't you give me the power to stop him from throwing his life away? Why did you just let him die, despised and hated by all? Everything was hanging on a thread at that moment. Just the tiniest effort could have changed everything. There are still so many things I never got to tell him. So many questions he still owes me answers to. If you really have no heart, then just look me in the eyes. I, Navia, will show you the true meaning of regret.
I'm sorry, Miss Navia.
You and my father are truly alike. You keep all kinds of things in your heart and never say a word to anyone. It's not so much that you can't feel, but that you would never express anything. Oh well. In any case, everyone already knows full well the apathy of the Chief Justice. My apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler and Paimon.
Navia, are you okay?
I'm fine. Rain. It's raining.
You're right. Wasn't it still sunny when we went into the building? And there shouldn't be any active trials today.
Now that I think of it, on the day my father was convicted of...
What is it? Did you think of something?
Yeah, he was outside. It was uncovered and the rain could fall there. That thought has occurred to us before. We've even expanded the search area to try to account for that. But didn't find anything of value. Oh? Wait.
So you're saying that the true murderer could have been turned into water? Yeah! And if that's what had happened, then no one would have believed...
I really think I found a true genius for a partner. Alright, let's go to Poisson. With this new lead in mind, we'll get to the...
Yeah! We're gonna make progress for sure this time!
Do you want to go with me now? Or do you want to head over by yourself later? Great. Let's go then. There's no need to be so surprised. While it may look like my father was the one who asked for it to be built like this, perhaps our taste in a gigantic and glamorous ship embodies discovery, opportunity, ambition, and conquest. It It symbolizes Spina di Rosula's bright and limitless future.
And Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Spina di Rosula had a glorious past. Paimon was confused why a group with such a history would live in the sewers. But now that Paimon has seen this ship for herself, she's been convinced.
Well, Poisson is where Spina di Rosula began, after all. Time to scout. Melus, we're back!
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle, and our most important partners. You said before that you still had some business at the court. What brings you back to Poisson so quickly?
About that. It's because my partner here reminded me of something really important. You see, what if my father's case had something to do with water from the primordial sea? You still remember, right, Melus? On that night, it was raining?
Yes, the case was quite similar to that of Mr. Linney's.
Could you tell us a bit more about what happened before?
Yeah, of course. Many years ago, at a glance, it was a kind of drink that...
Wait! Didn't that guard guy who turned into water...
Yes, he did. Considering what we know now, it's almost certain that synth is created using water from the primordial sea. If you drink synth for an extended amount of time, you'll suffer many side effects, such as losing the ability to focus or control your emotions. And if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience flashes of paranoia and anxiety while lacking energy to do anything. It's an extremely dangerous substance. As he oversaw Poisson, my father was compelled to put a stop to synth abuse.
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's wrath, but no matter how much they threatened or bribed him, he refused to yield. Not only that, Boss became determined to find them.
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. So he could never get anything out of the dealers, all of whom only sold the stuff and weren't privy to the rest of the operation. Recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers in secret and cultivate personal relationships with them. Finally, he was able to convince someone to become his informant. The man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed about his work after seeing many families destroyed by synth abuse. That night, my father hosted a banquet at his countryside estate. He planned to meet up and exchange but then, we heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. We raced to this—
Huh? How did that happen?
Sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? In both cases, the culprit— Looking back on it, though, I now believe the most important clue was something—
Precisely. It's all thanks to you that I made the connection now. Back then, we all just thought they were some costumes that Jacques used to disguise himself at the banquet. But, considering it now, it's almost certain that they belong to a third person at the scene. With one extra person, we'll also need to reconsider why the—
You're right. We still don't know what happened. But my intuition tells me that we're on the right track to figuring it all out. I'm finally headed towards—
Jacques was an empathetic man who was infinite. I think this third person is probably the key to the full truth. On that note, however, even though Spina di Rosula, there is no need to follow your father's path.
If that's indeed what he wished for, then he should have told me that himself. Was I not the closest person to him? And yet, I was the one most kept. What was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Did he
manage to protect anything in the end? Synth is still here. Callus the Unfaithful is... Did he think I'd just accept his meaningless death? I've never accepted that. Ever. Not since that day, and certainly not now. I want to find out the real answer for everyone's sake.
Davia.
This is indeed the best moment to act. Your partner...
So you do know something else, Malus?
Yes, I do. But what drove all the tensions to the boiling point?
What?
Boss, and the serial disappearances. 5 years was nowhere near enough time to resolve that. Knowing all of this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before his... But as long as you remained safe, he would not share the evidence with the public. If something were to happen to you, then he and all those he told would immediately expose all they knew about Synth and the disappeared victims.
Right, so nobody would be able to get off scot-free.
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long time, the other side has not tried to take Demoiselle's life.
No, I don't believe it. He never appeared to look sick to me.
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard, especially someone as proud as Boss. To him, dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as the unfaithful...
So he chose to die in silence.
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly, Demoiselle. If Boss's spirit could hear you telling me that you... I'm sure he'd be...
That fool. No. He might have set up everything precisely because he never... Is that the amount of confidence he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I am now? Yeah. I suppose that's true. With the way he'd set things up, if I had wanted, I could have just lived out my life without a care in the world. But thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. In this case, he really didn't need to give me an easy way out. Malus, what was the key evidence that he shared with you?
It's the location where synth is produced. Essentially, it's when he was threatening the enemy, Boss didn't share. But if you want to use it against the enemy, you'll still have to take several things into consideration.
Why? If we know where the place is, can't we just go storming in?
You mustn't forget that we're fighting against a mysterious and dangerous organization that's been in... There's no telling what might be lying in wait at their headquarters. We also have no... But a single visit to their headquarters would be tantamount to a formal declaration of war. The worst case would be that we leave empty-handed, but also open ourselves up to full retaliation.
Then, in that case, why not work with the...
Well, you saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case. We have no idea just how thoroughly they may have been infiltrated.
But things are different now. It should be a lot easier to prove the other side's guilt, now that we've connected Synth with the disappearances case.
You sound like you've put a lot of thought into this, Malus.
I am the butler, after all. I live but to serve the boss and Demoiselle's will. I've always been willing to take on any kind of risk for your sake. But considering my relative lack of ability, I've spent my time keeping secrets, performing basic investigations, and...
Thank you for all of that, Malus.
Let me think. When I announced orders to the organization, if the vendors didn't change their plans, then after several rounds of testing and investigation, the first is Florent, Spina di Rosula's senior advisor.
Huh? Florent?
Yes, surprising, isn't it? He was one of the people Boss trusted the most, which also means that he was someone who, thanks to his position, there's someone else like him too. Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières.
Uncle Marcel.
It's a guild in Poisson. The boss helped it to grow to its current size and prominence. In the beginning, they were only reselling some daily goods, but now they're one of the richest guilds around with a lot of business connections.
So, they're like a sister organization of Spina di Rosula?
Yes, you can say that. When we were... It's a bit difficult to imagine...
The final suspect is Thierry, the man responsible for coordinating information between Spina di Rosula and the guards. Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, there are still many activities we have to report to the local authorities. Since Thierry is always in the know about our current activities, he could theoretically always plan one step ahead.
I see. These? To think that the enemy we've been fighting against...
If you want to investigate them, please take every precaution to not...
Of course.
You're too kind, my lady. And before I forget, proving Boss's innocence would also mean clearing him of blame in Jacques' death. After that incident, Jacques' wife and daughter were taken into the Spina's care. They still live in Poisson today. If it might help, you could also pay them a visit. I can make the necessary arrangements.
Oh, thank you so much, Malus. You really are the best.
A new case awaits, my dear partner. I hope we can work together to uncover the truth and end this case once and for all.
It is settled, then. Please excuse me, and enjoy your conversation at your leisure.
Thank you for arranging everything for us.
Excuse me, miss. Do you need anything from us?
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time. After what happened, I did...
Ah, if it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my husband died, Spina di Rosula sent us a lot of mora and support. I understood your guilt and apology to be genuine.
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques? I can understand the kind of pain that comes with losing a father so needlessly.
You don't understand at all.
I didn't know how to face you. I know. Only the
I'm sorry. I appreciate the on the matter regarding my husband.
Would you mind sharing it with me?
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me he had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family too literally. For the longest time, he thought mora was everything. So when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he accepted it almost immediately. He tried to be as careful as he could, but even so, he was still found out by the higher-up.
They found out?
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was his final farewell to the two of us. I don't know that for sure, but you... alive and after he passed away. Even if he fired the shot that killed my husband, it was likely in self-defense. It is impossible for—
But Mama, why is Papa always wanted to be a good man?
Well, things aren't always as they seem.
Yeah.
Then you should hold on to that. If a good— regardless of whether he left you a parasol or a sword.
Oh.
Thank you for everything you've told me.
Thank you. I'm very grateful to hear this from you. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really similar.
You really think so? That's the first time anyone said that.
Are you okay, Navia?
I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's investigate the 3 suspects next. Laurent should be nearby, and we should be able to find Thierry and Uncle Marcel in the city.
Greetings, boss. How may I be of assistance today?
I'm sure you've heard about what happened at the Opera House. Someone got turned into water right in front of us.
Yeah, I've heard. With something that dramatic, I'm sure
It also reminded me, on the day that the incident happened with my father, after my partner here put the dots together for me, I feel like we should try— Can you do me a favor and try to recall what happened that night?
Let me think. Mr. Callis was after that. He told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. So my first reaction was that Mr. Callis's life was in danger. So I grabbed my holster and made a mad dash toward the scene. But when I got there, it was already too late. Mr. Callis was standing over a dead body with—
So you also remember 2 gunshots then?
Indeed. The guards said that the first shot didn't hit anyone, while the second killed Jacques. Reason being, Mr. Callis had left his gun on the table. But according to the guards, that doesn't mean he couldn't have had other guns on his person. About the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned, do you think there was a third person there who was turned into water?
At least from our perspective, my father had no reason to kill, so he would also have no reason to bring an extra gun with him. The gun he was holding probably belonged to Jacques, or a third person on the scene.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying Mr. Callis ended up with the gun because he seized it from one of the other guys? But hold on. If that's what had happened, then why didn't he didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine, and chose instead to prove his honor in a duel? Did he lose all faith in the courts after seeing someone dissolve right in front of his eyes?
About that, Malus told me a thing or two. So, I think I can understand why he committed to the duel. I'll tell you everything once the whole truth has been revealed.
I understand. Then, I'll leave Mr. Callis's honor in your hands, boss. And if I may just say one more thing. Many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. But it was Mr. Callis's trust that allowed me to, no matter what others might say.
Don't worry. I will definitely find the truth. You and all our other comrades at the Spina. Hey, Thierry! It's me!
Oh, now, what brings you here, Miss Navia? I've heard that you made quite the name for yourself at the Opera House.
Oh, so you've got new—
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm also a member of the guards, you know. The way you make it sound, people would think I was sent off to Poisson because I had done something wrong.
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that?
Under normal circumstances, shouldn't you have been called back to the city already?
I mean, where I work, Callus did a fantastic job running the town. Building Spina di Rosula from the ground up and clearing many obstructions in my way. It would be next to impossible for me to find a similarly easy but high-paying job in the city. Anyway, enough chit-chat. Are these two friends of yours? You, here for some formal business?
Yes. These two are my partners. What happened at the Opera House made us realize that Linny's case and my father's may be related.
Ah, I get it. You think if you want to go through the original...
That'd be much appreciated. Thank you. Actually, I have another question. Do you have the authority to...
Of course. Without them, why do you ask? We definitely can't use them to force...
Well, you see, just recently, we were... So... if you, hypothetically...
Then if I had to make an analogy... When you order a dish, the chef will make it. If you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef would just think you're out of your mind and ignore you completely. Removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might think. So I can promise you, they're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be super rich.
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Oh, well, thank you for the jokes aside. I'd like to wish you all... I'll be staying in the city for a little while, so just come find...
More speed. More speed.
Hello. How may I help you?
I'm here to see Marcel. Could you please...
Sure. I will let him know right away.
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as young...
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Marcel. I just wanted to talk to you briefly.
Yes, I've never seen anything...
Oh, you were at the Opera House too?
That's right. I went there with Navia to see the magic show. Who knew it would turn into a... I also witnessed your marvelous sleuthing work. Quite impressive. To beat the Hydro Archon at her own game on her own turf.
Oh, Paimon doesn't want to become...
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is as a nation. Everyone loves drama and theatrics.
Uncle Marcel, you've also noticed that...
Yes. I was reminded of your father's case right away. Is that what you're
Exactly.
Oh, and what makes you say that?
We were attacked on Araneus by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also an attempt to get me to drink water from the primordial sea. If not for the vigilance of my...
Oh, you're giving us too much credit. Wasn't it you who protected...
Alas, it seems things... But rest assured, Navia, Poisson will always remain... If anyone dares to lay their hands on you there...
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. Do you have any new thoughts on...
About that. Sorry. The confrérie was responsible for that banquet. So I was out and about the whole time, making sure things were running smoothly. Then I heard the sound of a gunshot.
Oh, it's okay. No need to push yourself. We'll ask around some more. See if there are any valuable clues elsewhere.
Sounds good. Just let me know if you ever need Mora. All my wealth comes from Callus's patron.
We've talked to all 3 suspects, purely based on their conversation.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. If a single conversation... Anyway, even though we didn't make a breakthrough, let's still compile what we were able to find.
But where should we start? Ah, you're right! Florent mentioned that Callus probably only ended up with the gun
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he had been discovered, and that he had no choice before... If I had to guess, he probably
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
Ooh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew that he was just being used as a tool for murder. And once he had completed his mission, he'd be of no more use to his boss.
Huh. So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his back on the Order and seek protection from my father. Makes sense. But without evidence, that's still just a theory. Besides Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me quite a bit as well. It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy.
Do you think he knew, even then, that we'd follow this?
Given everything that's happened since, it's quite possible. But who among the 3 suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex? Uncle Marcel? And with funds from the Confrérie, still really hard for me to imagine. Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of Mora and... Florent? It is true that he was closest to my father, and thus had the best chance of learning about his dealings with Jacques, but... Espina di Rosula...
So you're saying he's too broke?
Exactly. He can't. And even if he could, I don't think he would be... Thierry, you say? But I didn't feel like he was lying.
Yeah. Had he actually tampered with the mecha, we'd be able to... If the mecha were taken from the guards, it should be pretty easy.
Who could it be? You know, if you think everything through, Uncle Marcel...
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't know about the...
Malus has always been very reliable, and his judgment of others' trustworthiness has been fair and well considered. The suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the means to dispatch Mecha to assassinate us, and possesses significant intellect and foresight. Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all tie back to Uncle Marcel.
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes, Malus did say that charging straight in there would be extremely risky.
But we don't have any other options right now. We need far more solid proof before we can hope to go—
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been looking for you.
Huh? Aren't you the guy from the guards? Did something happen?
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus.
Wasn't that place built specific?
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartak.
What? Is that someone—
Yeah, we know him. Maybe even a little too well.
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. It's absurd, don't you think?
Wait, how? None of our investigations have had—
That's what I thought was strange. If the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to him.
Right. Because they'll think—
Yeah. And it'll be a lot harder then to clear Mr. Callus's name.
I understand. Huh? Split up? What do you mean? Just as Since this is a trial about the serial— You're right. This is our— I won't have any chance of making that charge stick, though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be up to you to make it back in time and hand the decisive evidence.
We'll help you.
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany.
I'm ready.
Ah, Malou, Silver. When did you two get here?
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson. It's our hope that...
See you then! Now that Navia has set out for Irenaeus, the location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over. Huh. According to Malou's info, the synth production base is underwater. Let's go and try to find it. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth production base. Ah, you're right. Navia's probably arguing up...
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr. Tartaglia. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard of. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name. In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorend, right? I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever received. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back. Real.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect for a major case. This isn't the place for you to be looking—
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me. Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the—
No. That's not what I meant.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going... In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again. The goal of this trial is to determine the culprit behind the serial disappearances case.
That case had nothing to do with him! You've got the wrong man!
Huh? What's going on? Why is she interjecting again?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui harbingers.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerate, but that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can...
Oh, please. Did you ever think we can put that discussion aside for now. And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia...
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, so, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to...
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia, who is the...
That person is... Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabriere.
Huh? What Confrérie?
I've heard of them, but weren't they Spina di...
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. And if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may...
Yes.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia, members of the guards, please contact me... Mr. Marcel, you will not require an attorney. Is that correct?
Apologies. It all just... I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a misunderstanding between me and Nav...
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived, Miss Nav...
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, to the case of Callus the Unfaithful. Only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we connect...
Navia, do you really think... Come on, why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor. If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that...
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet. Even I'm struggling to remember some details of that case.
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case before I can
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage. On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large during the banquet, all attending. When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callus, holding a gun, while his acquaintance, Jacques, lay dead from a gunshot. The guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As the suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also Callus was defeated by champion duelist Clarand in the ensuing... These are the known facts.
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. And even so, Jacques still had no reason to pull the trigger. In truth, the third person shot Jacques first, and was shot in turn by my father when my father seized the gun from him. After that, the true culprit turned the third person. Thank you for the summary. However, we should revisit... of clothing was found at the scene, but now it is clear that the clothes were proof that since it was raining that day, the culprit was confident that they could... seems not... This assassin... testimony of the victim's family however, in the end, he reconsidered. And unfortunately for Jacques, realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callis...
That's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the primordial sea has been—
What a great theory. It also
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide a rebuttal if you wish to prove your innocence.
But I think I agree with everything Navia just said.
Then, may I ask some questions? 1. Do you have the evidence?
I'm afraid... I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the we should be able to find him. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept...
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette.
Why do I feel like...
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself again?
Alternatively, she's become more diligent.
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth, then why didn't Mr. Callis explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had been dissolved,
I've thought about this too, and the answer is actually pretty simple. The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for the true culprit of the serial disappearances case. My father could have exposed it for all to see, but he chose to. At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and what was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic target on my back.
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target.
What?
If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one in danger. All of us would have stood to lose our lives. Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine that we were in the right. But what good would that do? How can a hollow verdict protect anyone? Had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice, Spina di Rosula would have had no reason to exist. But by staying silent, we retain the ability to deter our opponents and continue the stalemate. I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well. And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do—
So, you mean to say...
That's right.
Do you have any...
Of course. All you need is to... I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the Shadow. But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand...
So... During the duel, did you believe that Callis was intending to die?
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives. In my line of work, I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Some were determined, others passionate, and some even manic and twisted. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callis never intended to leave the ring alive.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions. It appears there really are good grounds to reopen this case.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your...
Right? What she said was fascinating, but kind of beside the point.
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callus. As a result, they planned to act after hearing 2 gunshots. And, at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk of being identified. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they coincidentally,
So that's why you suspected me. I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia.
It's no need to appeal to...
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that I was... On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the time?
Not much you can say to that.
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some... Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation? But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Do you know what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is?
I suppose you're gonna tell me...
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action with nothing to gain. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in Fontaine.
I do apologize, demoiselle.
No, it's not...
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check that? You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snezhnaya for the first time. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the
Seems like she got... At this rate, Navia will be convicted.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father, but aren't you going against all of his wishes? And he wished for you to become more rational, collected. Once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong into things.
This isn't just about me. The biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that the people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved ones to the many people's images are flashing before my eyes. And whose image? Is it a man named Vacher?
Huh.
Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard of.
I was waiting for you to say that.
My guiding step, born of ice and frost. Whoa! The floor is going up! Is it because of this mechanism in the middle? That guy really prepared a lot of stuff for this place. We need to go up, but Paimon doesn't see a way. Let's take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up. The water level is rising. Now we can swim to the top. But this is still a ways away from where we need to go.
Time to go.
Now the path is clear. Let's go. Not now. Don't be scared. Blaze over.
Unleash! Do your master's bidding!
Wind strike!
Time to go.
After all that, we finally... Though, as expected, the mastermind is... That's right. Let's see what's written here. Nothing escapes the... Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to be an investigation report on him. Yep, this should prove the existence of the third person, right? We still have not... The old dog's a real menace. He can act whenever he wants. I concur. Let's send someone to kill him. He won't declare war as long as we... Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups. What's this over here? Looks like some kind of... Experiment number 16. The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Female specimens 22, 20... Sorry, sorry, Traveler. Paimon will try her best. How can someone write something that terrible and you read the rest? Paimon's too scared to keep going. So that's why he did all of these experiments. Wait, did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by That's just insane! Huh? Was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. You mean Vacher is the one who did all of these... experiments? So that's it! Vacher was no victim, but personally took his... No, that's not it either! If that's the case, why would he want people to resurface from... In any case, Paimon will write it all down. What's all this? It's a bunch of really cute things! Pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box! Oh, Paimon sees it too, but... What? Huh? You mean the girls from the cereal... And then they were turned into water. And all the boxes of things. These names. That means... Oh, this is terrible! Oh, look! There's an important-looking basin over here, and it's full of water! That means this is where they make all the synth! And if you dilute it with normal water, you'll get synth! But the Paimon will take notes on this incriminating... Whoa! There's so much synth here! And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain the... Mixing in progress. Ready to... Whoa! There's even fruit-flavored synth? Yep, it's... We've looked at almost everything here, and it seems... Yeah, we haven't found anything that reveals his true identity. No wonder even Neuvillette wasn't able to find anything. Whoever it is probably destroyed everything to do with that name a long time ago. That way, even if we bring all this back to the opera, we won't be able to identify the Sure thing. his lover's name? Then you found her diary. Let's see! Aw, it's just a normal diary chronicling their love story. She was so sweet, too. Oh, Paimon feels even worse for her now. So many! A whole page! The final name, Marcel. Wait, but Marcel's pretty old. Has this case been going on for so... Hey! Paimon still hasn't figured...
And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vacher?
Huh.
Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard of.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Navia! We're back!
As expected of my partner. I just knew you'd return in the nick of time.
Just how often do you intend to flout the rules of this court?
It's all right, Monsieur Nervalette. Given their confidence, I expect they've found the crucial evidence.
But the truth of it, Marcel, is that you've always been Vacher.
Huh?
We've investigated your lair and we already know everything! After your lover, Venier, was dissolved, you kept abducting young women to experiment on the hopes of bringing her back to you! You even created Marcel as a new identity and destroyed all records of your past as Vacher!
So that's it. Even the villains in opera performances rarely go that far. And with that, Marcel's motive has now been established.
This information regarding your past also dismantles your prior timing defense. Well, Marcel, do you know where you went wrong? You fixated your gaze on the lover that passed away, instead of paying attention to the living people around you. So, you never noticed how he changed, or...
You also never understood Boss's real expectations for his daughter.
Or our determination to seek...
Your determination?
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself. Otherwise, the trial will move on.
Do you really think... Pay attention to you? What for? Have you ever paid attention to me? Ever empathized with my pain? Ever known how it feels to watch the love of your life dissolve right in front of your eyes? No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades ago, even the officers from the Maison Gardiennage were laughing at me. They said there's no way a human being can turn into water. So I must have gone mad from grief. Vinier's death was brushed away by all of you as if it didn't matter at all. Well, now you know, don't you? Ha! Well, it's too late now. All those who were dissolved are gone forever. You only have yourselves to blame. You set up this ornate opera house in pursuit of your so-called justice, your beloved drama, while turning a blind eye to the suffering of the people. Venier is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together. Wherever she goes, I will follow. But I'm not from this blasted place, so I can't be dissolved, no matter what I do.
Hey, is that water from the primordial sea that he's drinking?
I can't dissolve! Can't dissolve! Can't dissolve! Do you all see? I can't go! I can't follow! So if I can't go where she is, what choice do I have but to try to bring her back?
I did all of that, and in the end, that accursed Callus still got the better of me. I spent my entire life living on pins and needles, only to get stabbed by his idiot daughter at the very end.
The suspect is exhibiting signs of mental distress. Guards, please restrain him.
Don't touch me! Don't anybody come near me! I still need to save Vignere. I promise. We made a promise. Vignere! Please, Vignere! Don't think badly of me.
At this point, the verdict of this trial is clear. With Mr. Marcel's conviction, the charges against Mr. Tartaglia no longer have any basis.
Fine by me. I was in a bad mood, but after a show like that, I'm actually feeling pretty good.
Traveler, please submit all the evidence you have collected to the guard. The man now known as Marcel was originally named Vacher and worked as an adventurer with his partner and lover Vignere. During an underwater expedition, Vignere accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea and was dissolved in front of Vacher as a result. Vacher learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others and began to kidnap young women for research, with the goal of discovering a method to restore Vignere back to life. To cover his tracks, he invented the new alias of Marcel and began to operate a business in Poisson. During the course of his research, Vacher discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea can induce feelings of... However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and after exchanging blows with Spina de Rasula for many years, Vacher decided, although the assassination did not go as Vacher expected, he was able to turn Callus into the murder suspect by dissolving the... And just recently, Vacher attempted to frame Linny as the culprit of the serial disappearances case, using a similar method. However, his attempt to frame Linny failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. This case also exposed enough of Vacher's machinations that he was eventually... Thus concludes the enigmatic history of the serial disappearances case, with the truth revealed to all. The Oratrice will now deliver the final verdict. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Mr. Vacher is guilty.
Guards! Take Vacher away.
Good. It's what he deserves.
With that, the serial...
We really just witnessed history.
Who would have... Yippee! He's hurt so many innocent... Huh? Are you okay?
Demoiselle, you were absolute...
The day our late boss had...
Yeah. See, Pop...
Well now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served, past wrongs have... Since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way, I've still got some...
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
Ugh, what now? None of this has anything to do with me.
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to a charge against you, a verdict...
Oh, come on. Is this really necessary? Haven't you already caught the real...
Please respect the laws of Fontaine.
All right, but this sure is a lot of hassle. All I need to do is stay...
Through evidence presented in the public trial that was just held, it has been established the guilty party has been identified, and we now turn to the Oratrice... According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique de guilty.
What?
Hey! That's not funny! Didn't you just say I'm supposed to be innocent? What's with this verdict? Is your justice machine malfunctioning?
Huh? This has never happened before. The Oratrice actually...
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent Fatui Harbinger?
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case? No matter what else he's guilty of, it shouldn't affect the verdict in this case, right?
The judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale is... Guards, Please take this up.
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
I am sorry. If you have been wronged, we will find the truth. But the rules of the court must be upheld.
Hey, Monsieur Neuvillette, what's going on?
Apologies. This is also the first time I've encountered such a situation. All I do is follow court procedure. As for why the Oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
Why are you looking at me? I had nothing to... I don't know what happened there either.
What does Lady Farina mean by that?
She says she has no idea either, but...
Yeah, so are the verdicts reliable or not?
My dearest citizens, did you really think we'd allow an incorrect verdict? Don't tell me. You thought even I had been blind.
But the way she looked just now, it was pretty obvious.
However, given the state of things, I shall give you an explanation. And, of course, for every performance, there is a script. Everything has unfolded exactly as I expected from the very beginning. As the embodiment of the very concept of justice, the Oratrice shall never render an arbitrary judgment! If you thought Child had nothing to do with the serial disappearances case, it is all everything he's done, not to mention the danger he poses, all shall be revealed in time. You know, having said that, although I hate to leave things hanging in...
So she chose to make her escape after all, did she?
So you're saying we shouldn't put much stock into what she just said?
She probably just put on that performance to save face. As for the truth, it's unlikely that she actually... However, please be assured that I will continue to investigate this case in a personal capacity. Just as I promised.
All right. Even though we feel pretty... After all, he's done plenty of bad stuff. Oh, Monsieur Neuvillette!
I'm the Chief Justice of Fontaine, of course.
Manifest!
Hey, what are you doing? Quick, stop him! Traveler! Hey! Traveler!
Marcel! What are you doing?
Stop resisting arrest! No, wait! I just want to ask the Traveler something. I'm not looking to run away. Please, just let me ask this one small thing.
Go on.
Thank you. I was being led away when I finally realized something. Where did you first hear the name? I erased all records of that.
Are you still trying to prove your innocence? Give it up. You've...
Really? You did? You're sure? You met her? But how could that be? The Fountain of Lucine? Then she's been... Please give me a chance to talk to her again. Just let the Traveler take me to the fountain to see her...
What? Give an inch and you want to take a mile?
Paimon agrees!
This request, is it worth it?
Of course! Wait, no.
Humans. Will they betray the instinct? Very well.
Your Honor.
I will go with him. You do not...
Thank you. Thank you.
Unleash!
Is this the place? You said she's here, but what do I need to do to see her?
Yeah, and even Paimon could hear her after drinking that thing.
Vache!
Ah!
Yes, that's it! So you heard it too!
Vinier, it's me! It's...
Vache?
I'm here! I'm here! Where are you, Vinier?
Hey, wait! Be careful!
Vinier, is that you? It's me, Vache! Vinier!
Vache? Why did you come?
It's been more than 20 years. All this time. Only the thought of... I must be dreaming. Oh, Vinier, you are my everything. I really don't know how I...
But Vache, if you had... If not for you, I would have finished my life. If not for you, I would have continued to pursue my love. If not for you, I would at least have been able to take care of... It's all because of your...
You... Wait, you want...
You're right. I am not Vinier. I am the sacrifice. Every woman who died by your hand. As our bodies dissolved, our consciousnesses flowed back to the... Our thoughts circulated endlessly within the primordial sea. I'm Cressy. I'm Lemony. I'm Azine. The only one I am not.
Why? But...
She doesn't want to see you anymore. This is what you get for your selfishness. Your selfishness robbed us of our lives and our futures. You said, but did you ever consider whether she'd want to see you do the thing? You are a liar, a heartless murderer, and a cowardly narcissist. The only thing you are not is Vinier's. From the moment your first victim died and her consciousness
No! Yeah!
You still don't understand. When I said don't... But on top of that, she said that because she knew that if you did come here, we will show no mercy to you.
Vache.
Vache? Vache. 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 Vache.
Drown.
Finally, we have some time to do shopping. Gosh, it's really been a long time since we've been able to relax.
Well met, partner. I knew...
Even this weather can't put a damper on the demoiselle's mood.
It's a pleasure to see you both again.
Oh, hey, Navia!
Oh, now that I believe.
Sounds like you're really enjoying life these days, Navia.
It's just been one thing after the other. Everyone from Spina di Rosula organized a memorial for my father. This time, though.
So his name's definitely been...
It's been the dearest wish.
That blasted oh, by the way, well, maybe it'd be more accurate to say I knew—
Huh? So you know Charlotte too?
Yeah, way back when I first became the president of the Spina di Rosula, she was all over me. I believe the story was called The True— To be fair, though, it was a really flattering feature. She was trying to lean on our friendship to get me to do an exclusive piece on the serial disappearances case.
Oh yeah, she told us about that. She's always—
Anyway, I told her to make sure that when she writes about you—
Now that's another thing to look forward to. Wait.
Oh, and in other news—
Oh, are you two on better terms now?
While you were investigating Vashey's headquarters, Clorand gave testimony on my father's behalf. It was thanks to her that we were able to turn the tide. I wanted to thank her. I mean, there's also no point in being awkward all the time, so we took the chance to reconcile with each other.
Oh, that's great.
Anyway, now that the case is final— Oh, actually—
What is it?
I should pay a visit to my father's grave, and on top of that—
Miss Navia.
Indeed.
We wanna go—
Sure thing.
And in that case, everyone—
Yeah, you're right. It's been— This is where my father—
Huh? There's someone— Isn't that Nervalette? Why would the Chief Justice be here? Huh? Navia?
My apologies. I should have asked, but—
Don't say that.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I was trying to say there's no need for you to apologize. I wanted to show my father how much I've grown, but still, I doubt I've grown to the point that even the Chief Justice would feel compelled to apologize.
In that case, I will stop apologizing for now.
You really could use some pointers on understanding human emotions, Monsieur Nerval. In any case.
Well, ever since that day, I've been turning a question over and over in my head. There was once a time when I didn't want to believe that there could be anything more important to humans than life itself. Oh, rather than that, it's probably more truthful to say I didn't believe humans were capable of resisting the most basic instinct of living things. Which is also why I didn't stop your father from beginning that fateful duel. I believed that a truly innocent man would never throw away his life like that. That there was nothing, but Mr. Callus proved me utterly and decisively, if not for his sacrifice. The serial disappearances. Mr. Callus made the choice he did for his daughter, and in the end, from a certain perspective, a justice that's hot. So, you asked me why I came here. I just wanted to say my apologies to Mr. Callus. This regret has filled me with a sadness that has haunted me for days. That high and mighty chair in the Opera Epiclese indeed insulates one from many important things. Spina di Rosula, thank you so much for—
So, you're actually one of those types that's cold on the outside, but pretty thoughtful on the inside, huh? That reminds me of Silver.
Sorry about that. Self-expression is not one of my—
Didn't I just—
Ah, so Navia and let's not disturb them for now. Paimon's never paid respects at someone's grave before. Huh? Oh, Paimon didn't know that was a thing. Oh no. Paimon hopes Miss— Anyway, Nervalette is still standing around there. It's not often that we can catch him alone like—
Oh, it's you two. Did Miss Navia invite you to come pay your respects to her?
We ran into Navia on this—
I see.
Well—
Please feel free. Though outsiders, you helped us solve one of the greatest mysteries in Fontaine, and it would be my pleasure to return the favor. My apologies. However, I still believe... For many years, I have been quite aware that the Oratrice does not as a divinely created mechanism. The people's unified faith in that not only can it produce the incredible power of indemnity, which is all to say, I have been prepared for a situation.
So when Lenny
I was not aware such a thing had occurred. Perhaps, in any case, I am inclined to believe that the Oratrice does have a... Based on Farina's reaction, I doubt even she had any idea what was going on. While we do intend to get to the bottom of this, for now, we regret to say that the Fatui Harbinger, if we did incorrectly convict him of crimes he did not commit...
If you ask Paimon, the only compensation he'll...
Is there anything else you... That the sea levels will rise and everyone will be dissolved in water, leaving Farina crying alone on her throne, but the sins of the people will be finally washed away for good. Does that appropriately summarize the version you've heard?
That's right! It was Lenny that told us back then. And that about covers all the main points.
Yes, up to the present, I think we reached a point where we have no choice but to confront this prophecy directly. Rumors have it that this prophecy is rooted in the last words the former Hydro Archon left to the world before she passed.
A prophecy? Of the former Hydro Archon? Wow. This is the first time that we've ever heard of it.
2 parts of the prophecy have already proven correct. The rising sea levels and the ability of the people of... Speaking of the prophecy, Farina has also always taken it quite seriously. Indeed, if the rumors were true, then perhaps this prophecy is the conundrum left to...
But with Farina being the way she...
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
So, at court, the bad guys referred to that...
Truthfully, that name is already quite accurate. I can only surmise that Vacher and his ilk only learned of its nature and existence after it... There used to be a special sea on the surface of this planet. The nature of its seawater was rather different from that of the sea we know today. Most of Tevat's life forms were first born in that special sea. You could say it nurtured much of the life.
Huh. So it really was?
But today, the primordial sea no longer exists. What Vacher discovered must have been some kind of special case, or a...
Huh. So that's how it is. Oh, you really know everything, Monsieur Neuvillette. But if that's the case, then why would people, at least people from Fontaine, dissolve in that kind of water?
Indeed. Why would the primordial sea, which was known to be frank, that also doesn't match my understanding of this world and its laws. Is there anything... Your sibling, another blonde-haired traveler. If she ever stepped foot in Fontaine, I'm sure she followed our laws to the letter. Is there anything else? Very well. It was my honor to provide you with what answers I could. I very much enjoyed conversing with you. It will soon be time for me to leave this blissful tranquility behind and return to Palais Memoria.
You really are super busy, Monsieur Neuvillette. Paimon thought you only came here to pay your respects today because you had the...
Crime and villainy do not have the day off, and so justice must work.
All right. You've... Huh? Paimon just noticed that the rain has stopped.